Merry Christmas, everybody. So it is Christmas, but I'm not doing anything till this afternoon, after some video calls with my family. So I realized it is the day that I was supposed to review from step 1 of this self-help book and move on to step 2. And when it comes to this step 1, regardless of if you binge ate, they wanted you to track change days. And that means a day when you monitored and you wrote down everything you ate, you wrote it down as quickly as possible, and you were feeling good about monitoring, and it's become habit now. Like I said, yesterday was Christmas Eve, and I kind of forgot when my dad was here, so I'm going to have to really make sure I do it today, and I'm going to have to make sure I do it when I go out to my mom's to visit them for Christmas. And once work does start back up, I might need to really focus on monitoring because it's not something I'm used to doing at work. But I bought myself a cute backpack so I could put my nice little clipboard in it, and I have a smaller journal that I can follow. So I've decided that I think I've got this based on my situation now. I'm going to move on to step 2. Step 2 is going to take me a long time because it's called establishing a regular eating pattern. I've sometimes had a regular eating pattern, but that's when I'm working and this is the only time I have to eat. And if it's the only time I have to eat, I find that that's when I gorge myself. Because I think I'm not going to be able to eat for the next 8 hours, which I usually do end up eating sometime in that next 8 hours, but I panic. So it wants me to aim to have 3 planned meals, pre-planned meals every day, and 2 or 3 planned snacks. I'm going to go with 3 planned snacks to start, but I might take out the mid-morning snack. I guess it's going to depend on if it's killing my appetite entirely. Because I don't usually binge in the morning. So, but we'll see. It might also be really helpful to help me not binge at lunch or not binge in the afternoon. The exact times don't matter. So you can adjust the times every day if you have to. If your schedule changes daily, you can adjust the times. But you want to keep them close and be as planned as possible. Eventually, you want them to kind of stay the same. So your weekdays would all be the same, or your weekends would all be the same. Or if you're a shift worker, you have 3 days that are the same and 4 days that are the same. So yeah, plan ahead. At this stage, it doesn't matter what I eat as long as I eat. And if you have other issues, worse issues like vomiting, or you take laxatives, that you're not doing that. Okay. Try not to eat between the gaps. So every meal is about 4 hours apart. Try and go 4 hours without eating. So your plan's flexible. You should be writing it down in the notebook, or I should be writing it down in my notebook. Every day, plan what times I'm going to eat and see if I can stick to it or if I changed it. Only 4 hours. That's not actually that much, but when I say 4 hours, it does feel like it's a long time. For some people, this might make you feel overly full, so don't wear tight clothing. For others, it might make you feel overly hungry. And it should take priority over other activities. So let's say I'm like, well, I can't eat at this time because I need to work out. No, I need to eat because that right now is more important than working out. Or I can't do it because I need to do laundry or something else. No, I need to eat. That is the most important thing. And I know that's difficult, especially when it comes to work and if you have kids, but I need to do that. So I hope it still works. I'm going to wait and keep doing step 2 until I'm back in the swing of things at work because that's going to change what I can do. Get back on track immediately. My problem when I binge eat is I kick myself, and I kick myself so hard that I binge eat for a few days before I'm like, I can do this again. And then if I fall off, I kick myself for a few more days where I'm just not eating healthy or I'm over dieting or whatever, but I'm not fixing it. I'm not just getting back on a healthy way of doing this. You need to do that. And if it's too hard, the suggestion is that you start with like your evening meals, just those 2 meals in the evening, or your snack and your meal. Fix those first, and then fix lunch, and then fix breakfast, or vice versa. So yeah, you're just trying to create a pattern. Here's some tips. Restrict your eating to certain places. So from now on, I'm only going to eat in the kitchen. And on my couch, so that's 2 places, but in the kitchen will be my number 1 place. Concentrate on what you're doing. This is the hardest one for me because I live alone, so it's really weird for me to sit there and just eat. I'm like, I have to be watching something or reading something, but that distracts me, and then I can't taste the food, and then I don't know if I ate it, and then I think I want more. Just focus on the food. I might play music to try and like still have that background noise, but it's less distracting than the TV. Restrict your availability to food when you're eating. So whatever I'm eating, that's the only thing that should be out. Nothing else should be in eyesight or in reach. Then there's some cool tips for controls you can do, like when after you have a bite, put your utensils down, chew your food. Or take breaks during your meal and like do a walk around your house or go start the laundry or something, and then come back to your meal, allowing it to like sit and make you feel full or be full. Get used to leaving food on your plate, and I can tell you, like my dad, when I grew up, you ate everything on your plate. Not out of threat or out of being grounded or anything like that, or that it was going to starve later, but it was just unheard of to not finish your plate, especially if you were raised by somebody from the Great Depression era, or they were raised by somebody from the Great Depression era, or they were farmers, because you don't know when you're going to eat next, so you got to eat everything on your plate, and somebody made that meal for you. But it's 2020, guys. We can put them in containers and put them in the fridge. It's okay. It does suggest in here that you can throw the food out. I have a huge problem with throwing all food out, but yeah, if it's really bad for you or you know it was a binge meal, maybe you have to throw it out for the day. When you're eating with others, do not be persuaded to eat more than you planned. Oh my gosh, so Christmas at my mom's, this is going to be the hardest thing because I want to be polite. I love what they cook. It's going to be amazing. But don't eat more than you planned and don't eat more than you're hungry for. And they give you a saying, it's just no thank you. I really have had enough. It was delicious. And move on. And if they put food on your plate for you, which sounds childish, but sometimes, yeah, people put food on my plate and go, you need to eat this, finish this. Leave it untouched. Just, you got to set your boundaries, and I know I have to set my boundaries and be like, nope. When eating out, take stock between courses. So if you know they got appetizers and meal and then they're going to want dessert, stop and go to the bathroom, take a little walk to the car to get your wallet that you forgot, and remember what your goal is. And maybe can you skip part of that? Could you not have the appetizer? Or can you skip dessert? Or how are you actually feeling? And it's okay to take food home from your main meal. The other thing is don't drink too much alcohol when out and eating, because then it makes you want to eat more. And it impairs your willpower, of course. Limit the stock of your foods that you're likely to binge. I've been doing this for years. I don't bring the food into my house. Like it's never sitting there. So if I want Chef Boyardee or Ichiban or Kraft Dinner, if it's there, that's what I will eat. So I try not to ever bring it in. But if I have a binge moment, sometimes I'll go all the way to the store, buy stuff, come back, start eating it, and leave a bunch in the cupboard so I can binge eat again the next day. No more. If I have it in the cupboard and I'm like coherent enough and understanding my body enough, I can just take it and go give it to a food bank instead. But do not leave it in the house. But have an adequate amount of supplies that are acceptable. So if you have like fruits and vegetables, if you have the yummy meat that you need for protein, always have that on hand. And I struggled with this. I would have nothing in my fridge because I'm a single person and kept ordering from Uber Eats. I was like, I don't need to go grocery shopping. And then when I didn't want to order from Uber Eats, I had to because I didn't have any food in my house. Plan your shopping. I'm currently ordering from Chef's Plate, and that's the only place I'm going to order from unless there's like specific things I want. But I will pre-plan that shopping trip ahead of time. Shopping online is helpful, and in COVID, very safe. Avoid tasting when you're cooking. I didn't realize that could lead to binging, but it kind of makes sense. You've had a taste of something and now you want more and more and more of it. So just avoid tasting when you're cooking. And avoid unnecessary exposure to food. So one thing for me is I, in the new year, want to start trying to go on dates again and stuff, on online dating and all that. But everybody always wants to go for dinner, or they want to go for ice cream, or they want to go get coffee. And I always get really uncomfortable with this, so I'm now going to like avoid that exposure entirely and be like, let's think of something that doesn't involve food. So when I do my review sessions, I have to make sure I'm still monitoring, or I have to go back to step one. And I have to make sure that I'm planning my meals and snacks, restricting my eating to just those meals and snacks. Not restricting my eating, but just to those meals and snacks. Am I skipping any? Are there gaps that are too long? Am I eating in between? And am I getting back on track? Can I adjust the times as needed? And then there's a bunch of stuff on here about the bulimia, but that's not a problem for me. I am going to reread this chapter a few times because there's so much in it. I'm going to start trying to track when I eat. And like I said, this one's going to be really difficult for me. Because like step 3 is substituting alternative activities. I'm great. Like you tell me I can do something else, I'll do it. And maybe planning that will be kind of easy and help me relieve the boredom that often leads to binge eating. But to tell me I have to create a pattern for eating and not step out of it is going to take a while. So hopefully it works. Also going to say I'm cooking dinner for Christmas. It's just me and my dad, but I got to pick what we're eating, and I made enough for 2 people, even though I know I'm probably going to eat less, and I'm going to make sure to send him home with leftovers. Again, for this Christmas season, my biggest concern is still going out to my mom's house with that. It's a larger family. There's lots of food, cookies, baked goods. And I can actually tell how much binge eating and how long it's affected my life because many people in my family think that there's foods that I love. That when you actually ask me, I'm like, I don't like that food. But I've always eaten it, and I've eaten a lot of it just because it's there. Like there's cookies they think that I love, and there's all sorts of stuff. So really making sure to set my boundaries. And the good thing is I can bring my mom in on this, and she can help me be my person for a little while and be like, can you just like help me try and help me plan what times I'm going to be eating, I guess is going to be the big one, and help me like match serving sizes. So I shouldn't be going over what you're eating. But we'll see how that plays out. And